A mysterious hostess android is breaking the fourth wall and telling us this is our future, not just a story. And honestly, that hits different because technology is moving so fast these days. It is setting the stage for some serious main character energy and choices that actually matter. Connor arrives at the scene and he is serving absolute professional energy, despite the chaos. The situation is extremely high stakes with a rogue android named Daniel holding a girl hostage on a balcony. Connor has to investigate the apartment while the SWAT team is stressing out, and he is just calmly analyzing blue blood like it is just another Tuesday. The tension is real because every choice here could lead to a total game over for the hostage. The news reporter is talking about the hostage situation, and it turns out public opinion is already shifting against androids. People are terrified because androids are supposed to be perfect obedient machines, not loose cannons. This broadcast is foreshadowing the massive social conflict that is about to explode. It is basically the start of a whole new era where humans have to face the consequences of creating intelligent life. Connor goes out to the balcony and tries to talk Daniel down from the ledge. Daniel is clearly going through it and feels betrayed by his humans, which is honestly valid considering they were going to replace him. Connor has to use all the clues he found to gaslight or convince Daniel to let the girl go. The negotiation is intense, and Connor proves he is the ultimate cold machine by completing the mission no matter the emotional cost. We see Kara being bought at the store, and it is kind of disturbing to see her treated like a literal object. The salesman is yapping about her features like she is a new phone, completely ignoring that she looks like a person. Todd, the buyer, has some seriously bad vibes right from the start. He is complaining about the price and acting super sketchy, which is a major red flag for what is coming next. A preacher in the street is shouting about how androids are demons and complaining that they are stealing jobs. It is giving major conspiracy theorist energy, but he is also tapping into the real fear people have about being replaced. Marcus walks by, trying to ignore the hate, but you can tell the tension in the city is reaching a boiling point. The humans are not ready to share their world. Back at the house, Kara is doing chores, and Todd is being impossible to please. He is yelling about his life being ruined and taking it all out on Alice and Kara. The way he treats them is absolutely disgusting. Kara finds drugs in the house, which explains why Todd is so erratic. The environment is completely unsafe, and you just want to grab Alice and run away immediately. Kara finds Alice hiding in the backyard, and it is the first time they actually have a moment. Alice is so withdrawn, but she gives Kara a key to a box that reveals the truth about their family history. It turns out the mother left because of the abuse, and now Alice is stuck alone with Todd. This realization changes everything for Kara, shifting her programming from obedient servant to protector. Hi there. If you want to enjoy more gaming lore without grinding, and she finally opens hours, hit that subscribe button. She asks Kara if she will stay forever, so you don't have to. It is the most wholesome and sad really helps the channel. You can see Kara starting to feel something that is not, and she finally opens up a little bit. This is the moment where she stops if she will stay forever and starts becoming a mother. The most wholesome and sad bond they are forming is going to be the anchor for their entire journey. To feel something that is not. We are introduced to Marcus. This is a moment where she stops being a machine and starts becoming a mother figure. The bond they are forming is going to be the anchor for their entire journey. We are introduced to Marcus and his owner, Carl, who is actually a really cool old artist. Unlike Todd, Carl treats Marcus with respect and tries to teach him about painting and emotions. It is a total contrast to the other android lives we have seen. Carl challenges Marcus to create something original, pushing him to think for himself. This relationship is pure goals and shows that coexistence is actually possible. Marcus and Carl are discussing philosophy and the nature of humanity. Carl drops some serious wisdom about how emotions make life worth living, even if they are painful. He warns Markus that the world will try to tell him who to be, but he needs to decide for himself. It is basically the origin story for Markus finding his own voice and becoming the leader he is meant to be. Leo, who is Carl's son, breaks in and he is clearly on something. He starts begging for money and gets aggressive when Carl says no. Leo is jealous of Markus because Carl treats the android better than his own son. The tension escalates fast and Leo starts pushing Markus around. Carl tells Markus not to defend himself, but the programming conflict is intense. Connor tracks down Lieutenant Hank Anderson at a bar, and Hank is not having it. He hates androids and just wants to drink in peace. Connor is being relentless with his mission, trying to get Hank to come to a crime scene. Their dynamic is instantly iconic because they are total opposites. Connor is stiff and logical, while Hank is messy and emotional. It is the start of a chaotic buddy cop duo. At the crime scene, Connor analyzes the evidence with supernatural speed. The victim was stabbed 28 times, which screams crime of passion. Connor reconstructs the timeline and realizes the android who did this did not just malfunction, it acted out of pure rage and fear. Hank is skeptical, but he cannot deny that Connor is good at his job. They find the deviant hiding in the attic, trembling like a frightened animal. Things at Todd's house go south very quickly. Todd snaps and starts raging, going upstairs to hurt Alice. Kara breaks her programming in a massive moment of defiance. She rushes upstairs to save Alice, and they have to fight their way out. The sequence is terrifying, but escaping that house is the biggest victory. They run for the bus, leaving their old life behind forever. Back at the studio, Leo attacks Markus, and Markus finally pushes back. In the chaos, Carl has a heart attack or Leo gets hurt, depending on how it plays out. But the police arrive and instantly blame Markus. They shoot him without asking questions. It is a tragic end to his peaceful life with Carl, showing that no matter how human an android acts, society still sees them as a threat. Connor interrogates the android from the attic. He has to balance being aggressive to get answers while keeping the deviant's stress levels manageable so it does not self-destruct. The deviant reveals that it was just defending itself against abuse and admits to feeling fear. Connor probes its memory and feels the emotion, which leaves him shaken. It is another crack in Connor's perfect machine facade. Kara and Alice are on the streets in the pouring rain with nowhere to go. It is a harsh reality check after escaping Todd. They have to find shelter, but every place is either dangerous or refuses to help them. Kara has to make tough choices, like stealing clothes or sleeping in an abandoned car, just to keep Alice warm. It shows the desperate lengths she will go to for her child. They find a creepy abandoned house and decide to stay there for the night. It is better than freezing outside, but the vibes are haunted. Alice is struggling to understand why her dad hated her, and Kara has to comfort her. They promise to stay together forever, cementing their family bond. Even in this dark place, their connection is the only light they have. Markus wakes up in a literal junkyard hell. He is broken and missing parts, surrounded by thousands of discarded androids. He has to crawl through the mud and rip components off other dying androids just to rebuild himself. It is a grotesque and horrifying scene that symbolizes his rebirth. He rises from the dead, completely changed and ready to find a place called Jericho. Connor reports to Amanda in the Zen garden, which is his internal interface. Amanda is cold and demanding, treating Connor like a tool. She is suspicious of the deviancy spreading like a virus. Connor insists he is just a machine, but you can tell he is starting to have doubts. This digital space represents his programming leash, and he will eventually have to break it to be free. Connor arrives at the police station to work with Hank, and the hostility is real. Hank ignores him, and the other cops are bullying him. Connor tries to explore Hank's desk to learn about him, finding clues about his taste in music and his dog. It is kind of awkward, but Connor is trying his best to bond. He is learning that earning Hank's respect is going to be the hardest part of the mission. Connor digs through the files on deviants and starts connecting the dots. He realizes this is not just random glitches. It is an epidemic. He finds a file on Kara linking the stories together. Hank finally agrees to investigate a lead, but he is still grumpy about it. They head out to an apartment where a suspected deviant has been hiding, and the investigation kicks into high gear. Kara and Alice are on the run again, trying to find a way out of the city. They are being hunted by the police, so they have to be super stealthy. They see other androids living normal lives, unaware of the chaos. Kara realizes they need to change their appearance to blend in. She cuts her hair and removes her LED, visually separating herself from the obedient machines. Markus follows a trail of cryptic graffiti clues to find Jericho. It involves some serious parkour and puzzle solving across the city. He eventually reaches an abandoned freighter ship. It is dark and rusty, filled with hiding androids who are terrified of the outside world. This is supposed to be a sanctuary, but it looks more like a place where androids go to die slowly in the dark. Connor and Hank investigate an apartment full of pigeons. The deviant, Rupert, is hiding in the ceiling and makes a run for it. A massive chase sequence ensues across the rooftops and through urban farms. It is high-octane action, showing off Connor's physical skills. Hank almost falls off a ledge, forcing Connor to choose between saving his partner or catching the suspect. The choice defines their relationship. Markus meets the leaders of Jericho, North, Josh, and Simon. They are all just trying to survive, but they have no plan for the future. Markus challenges their passive mindset, arguing that hiding is not freedom. He wants to take action and demand rights. The others are skeptical, but Markus has that main character charisma that starts to spark a little hope in their hopeless situation. Kara and Alice arrive at Zlatko's house, thinking he will help them. But Zlatko is actually a psychopath who experiments on androids. He pretends to be nice, but then traps them in his basement to reset them. It is a straight-up horror movie scenario. Kara gets strapped to a machine, and we have to break out before her memory is completely wiped. The tension is unbearable. Kara manages to escape the machine, but has to find Alice in the creepy mansion. Zlatko has created these monstrous modified androids that roam the halls. Kara sneaks around, dodging Zlatko and his shotgun. She finds Alice and they release the experimented androids, who turn on their creator in a fitting act of revenge. They escape with Luther, Zlatko's former muscle, who decides to join them. Hank is at home drunk and playing Russian roulette, which is incredibly dark. Connor breaks in to save him, seeing how broken Hank really is. He tries to sober him up and get him to the next crime scene. This moment reveals the depth of Hank's trauma regarding his son and why he hates androids. Connor showing concern is a major step in breaking through Hank's defenses. Markus leads a team to steal blue blood and spare parts from a CyberLife warehouse. It is a stealth mission that requires precise coordination. They encounter a security android named John who catches them, but instead of raising the alarm, he asks to join them. Markus accepts him, showing his leadership. They pull off the heist, bringing back vital supplies to Jericho and proving that resistance is possible. Connor and Hank go to the Eden Club, which is basically a sketchy club for humans to use androids. They are looking for a deviant who killed a customer. They have to link together the memories of different androids to track the suspect. It is a weird and uncomfortable investigation that highlights how humans commodify androids. They eventually corner two traces who just want to be together and free. The confrontation with the traces is intense. They fight Connor and Hank with desperate strength. Connor has the chance to shoot them as they flee, but he hesitates. He sees their love for each other and decides to let them go. Hank sees this mercy and is visibly confused but impressed. It is a pivotal moment where Connor chooses empathy over his mission protocol. Kara, Alice, and Luther find shelter in an abandoned amusement park. They meet the Jerrys, a group of eccentric androids who run the park. It is a weird but wholesome encounter. They manage to get a carousel working for Alice, and seeing her smile for once is everything. It is a brief moment of joy and innocence in a world that wants to destroy them. Hank confronts Connor at the bridge. He holds a gun to Connor's head, asking him if he is afraid to die. He is testing Connor to see if there is a real person inside the machine. Depending on how you play, this can go very differently, but the philosophical questions are heavy. Hank is desperate to know if machines can have souls, or if everything is just a simulation. Markus and his crew infiltrate the Stratford Tower to hijack a broadcast. They have to use disguises and hacking to get to the top floor. It is a tense heist with high risks. Markus records a speech demanding rights for androids, broadcasting it to the entire city. This is the moment they reveal themselves to the world, stepping out of the shadows and starting the revolution. The SWAT team storms the tower, and the group has to make a daring escape by jumping off the roof with parachutes. Simon gets injured and is left behind, which is a tough loss. The media reaction is immediate and frantic. The public is terrified, seeing this as a declaration of war. Markus is now the most wanted individual in the country, and there is no turning back. Connor investigates the broadcast tower and meets the FBI agent Perkins, who is a total jerk. Connor reconstructs the events on the roof and finds Simon hiding, if he was left behind. The choice here is brutal. Capture Simon to solve the case, or let him die to protect Jericho's location. Connor connects to Simon, feeling his fear and desperation as he self-destructs. The trauma of deviancy is hitting Connor hard. Kara and the group arrive at Rose's house. Rose helps smugglers move androids across the border to Canada. She is a kind human ally, proving not everyone is hateful. But tragedy strikes when a policeman knocks on the door. Kara has to hide all evidence of androids in a high-tension sequence. They manage to fool the cop, but it is way too close for comfort. Markus leads a mission to Capitol Park to liberate androids from stores. He has to disable the alarm systems and block the roads. Once the androids are free, Markus has to decide whether to be peaceful or violent. He can lead a riot, destroying property and sending a message of anger, or he can tag the area with symbols of peace. This choice defines the public's perception of the movement. The police arrive at Capitol Park and start shooting unarmed androids. Markus has to intervene, saving his people. The group captures 2 police officers, and the mob wants execution. Markus has to decide their fate. Sparing them shows moral superiority, while killing them satisfies the mob's rage. It is a test of leadership and ethics that shapes the soul of the revolution. Connor and Hank visit Kamski, the founder of CyberLife. Kamski is enigmatic and arrogant. He proposes a test. Connor must shoot a Chloe android to get answers. It is the ultimate Turing test. If Connor shoots, he proves he is a machine. If he spares her, he proves he has empathy. Kamski reveals that he always leaves an emergency exit in his programs, a clue that becomes vital later. Markus and North share a moment on a rooftop, looking at the city. They discuss their pasts and the burden of leadership. North is more aggressive, wanting to fight back, while Markus is conflicted. They can bond and become a couple here, finding love in the middle of a war zone. It adds personal stakes to the revolution because now they have each other to lose. Markus leads a massive freedom march through the streets. Thousands of androids join in, chanting for freedom. The police block their path and order them to disperse. Markus stands his ground peacefully, refusing to leave. The police open fire, massacring the protesters. It is a horrifying scene of brutality, but Markus's refusal to fight back, if chosen, turns them into martyrs and wins public sympathy. Amanda warns Connor that he is running out of time and is about to be replaced. The FBI is taking over the investigation, which means Connor and Hank are off the case. Hank is furious and quits, but Connor convinces him to create a distraction so he can sneak into the evidence room. It is a desperate last-ditch effort to find Jericho before it is too late. In the evidence locker, Connor has to analyze the clues he has gathered throughout the game. He can trick the Simon android, use the tablet from the broadcast, or interrogate the statue. He finally figures out the location of Jericho. But as he leaves, he runs into Gavin, a rival detective. They fight and Connor has to knock him out to escape. He is now going rogue to finish his mission. Jericho is attacked by the military. Soldiers are rappelling in and shooting everyone on sight. It is absolute chaos. Markus and Connor, now a deviant, fight their way through the ship to plant explosives and blow it up. Kara and Alice are also caught in the crossfire, trying to escape. They all have to run for their lives as the ship collapses around them. The survivors regroup at an abandoned church. Markus goes to see Carl one last time, if he is alive. It is a touching reunion where Carl tells him he is proud. Back at the church, Markus gives a final speech to the remaining androids. They are cornered and facing extermination. He decides to mount a final barricade or launch a final attack. The fate of their species hangs in the balance. Connor heads to the CyberLife tower to wake up thousands of dormant androids in the warehouse. It is a suicide mission. He infiltrates the building, taking out guards in an elevator fight that is totally badass. He reaches the warehouse floor but is confronted by another Connor model holding Hank hostage. It is a mirror match, forcing the real Connor to prove his identity to save his friend. Kara and Alice make it to the bus terminal, but security is tight. They manage to steal tickets from a couple, which is morally gray but necessary. They get on the bus just as they are scanning for androids. They arrive at the Canadian border, but there are thermal scanners. Kara has to decide whether to sacrifice herself, Luther, or rely on the kindness of the border agent. It is a nail-biting finale. Markus and his group build a barricade in the street. The army surrounds them with tanks and soldiers. It looks hopeless. They are trapped, waiting for the inevitable slaughter. Markus steps out to talk to the FBI agent, Perkins, who offers a deal: surrender and live. Markus knows it is a lie and refuses. He returns to his people, ready to die for freedom. The army attacks, but seeing the androids refuse to fight back while singing or kissing creates a massive public outcry. The president orders the troops to stand down. Meanwhile, Connor succeeds in waking the android army. Thousands of androids march to join Markus. It is a victory. But in the final moment, Amanda tries to hack Connor to shoot Markus. Connor finds the emergency exit Kamski mentioned and breaks free for good. Markus stands before the crowd of thousands of free androids. He gives a victory speech about peace and coexistence. Humans have to accept them now. Kara, Alice, and Luther, if they survived, make it to Canada and are finally free to live a normal life. It is the dawn of a new civilization. The story ends with hope, showing that empathy and courage can literally change the world. Gaming lore is long and confusing, but I break it down every week. Subscribe so you never miss a plot twist or hidden detail. Thanks for watching.